Hello everybody, this is me, Amin.
And this Alex.
And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About... No, this is not another episode. Welcome to the first episode of Let's Talk About in 2022. So this is, of course, the first episode. And boy, do we have like a really interesting topic to talk about in this show. It is an issue that is affecting millions of Malaysians in Peninsular Malaysia. And it's not COVID. It is something else, something completely man-made. And I am talking about RFID payment systems on PLUS Highway. So the day today is the 20th of January. It is a Thursday. This is the day that we're recording the show. I want to go back into time. We have a date, right? So 15th January. I think PLUS have been telling people that 15th of January will be the day that they will start accepting RFID payments in their toll plazas. And so 15 was a Saturday, 17 was a Monday, and I'm sure all of you that's watching this show or listening to this show on podcast are probably or was probably affected by the major traffic jams at almost all of the main PLUS toll plazas in Malaysia, or at least in Klang Valley. I saw major traffic jams at Duke. I saw pictures of traffic jams at Ayer Keroh Toll Plaza. I saw Sungai Besi Toll Plaza. Cars were crisscrossing the highway lanes. It was like it was something I've never seen before.
It's chaotic.
Even when I was going to work, I was at and I was going into NKVE, the toll plaza there off GCE. So I was on GCE. I got off GCE going into NKVE. All the cars were crisscrossing the toll lanes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what is going on? So I went on social media and I think all went to hell on that day. So before we go into the discussion of like what happened, how can PLUS Highway do things better, how can Touch and Go do things better, let's talk about what happened before January 15th.
Okay, so since we're talking about PLUS Highway, I think let's talk about the whole journey first, right? So, okay, RFID, as you probably know, is basically a new payment method. So, before this, we have a smart tag, which is currently in use right now. So, you need to have like a active device. So, it's like a device that you had to put battery in.
Like a transmitter.
And you must slot in the Touch and Go card. And you need to top up the card manually, unless you have like a Zing card. So, for RFID, it's like a passive sticker, which you attach to your car. And that doesn't require any battery. You just stick it on. And it's linked directly to your Touch and Go e-wallet. So that's supposed to make things more convenient. So you can just reload on your smartphone. You don't need queue up anymore. Don't need to mess around with batteries or top up your card manually. So that's supposed to make life easier for highway users. RFID has been tested in most of the highways in the Klang Valley. I think by now, all highways in Klang Valley are covered at least. And I think so far it's been pretty good experience for most of us, including the pilot users. But what happened is that PLUS this time around on 15 January is the biggest rollout ever, because it's the first time they're going to cover 83 toll plazas across the North Side Highway. They've done pilot tests before. They've covered, I think, the 10 toll booths on the northern side. They've done Penang Bridge. So this is the final stretch. This is the final piece of puzzle to cover everyone with RFID support. And the difference is that this time around is involving a closed toll system. So let me explain the closed toll and open toll system. So open toll is basically you go through the toll booth, you pay, that's it, job done. For closed system,
you pay one standard fee.
Yes,
right?
one standard fee.
So it's like if you use the Penchala link, right? You pay like RM3 or something like that to cross the tunnel. You pay one fee. It's not a variable fee.
Yes, correct. So for the closed system, whereby you need to enter the highway and exit highway, and that's how the toll is calculated. So everyone will be paying different rates.
Yeah, the rates is based on the distance, right?
Yeah,
so,
entry and exit points.
Yeah, so if you enter KL, you leave Penang, I think the toll will be like RM40. If you enter KL, you leave Seremban, it'll be like 15, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, so it's variable. So that's actually more complicated. And that went live on the 15th of January. So Saturday went live. I think it was quite okay because I tried using it on from Damansara Toll to KIA. No issues, no drama. It's like a normal experience that we have in Klang Valley, like in LDP and Smart, no issues. But on 15, like you mentioned, during rush hour, that's where everything just
went to hell. That's what I'm saying. All went to hell.
And their server
If you agree, put them in the comment section below. If you were affected, tell us your experience. What happened, right? Okay. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of factors to that. Number one is that the first, I think I've written a post on Sunshine also, is number one, there's not much education or awareness on ground at least. Because during rush hours, right, it's going to be very jammed.
Before we talk about the things that didn't happen, when I said like all went to hell, what actually happened?
Congestion, right? Everything people complain that, they got stuck in the toll booth, can get detected, the panel doesn't go up.
I think one of the common issues was RFID couldn't detect their tags.
Yeah.
Because previously, during the pilot test days, RFID stickers were installed by technicians.
Yep.
Now it's all self-installed. So that's number one. Number two, people, because PLUS also mentioned that they want to shift people who are from Smart Tech to start encouraging them to use RFID.
Yep.
I remember you telling me like people who were they had to shift lanes. Remember there was like an issue. They reversed back and then they tried to use Smart Tag again, and then they had to pay like 40 ringgit. Like all of those issues happened on that day, right?
Yeah, that's the next thing I want to mention about. So the thing about on the 15th of January, right?
Yeah.
They enable A3 toll plazas, and the thing is, each toll plaza will only have at least one RFID lane.
Okay.
Most of them only have one RFID lane. And went back to the closed toll plaza, right? If you enter the highway with RFID, you must also exit the highway with RFID.
Okay.
Because if you use Smart Tag when you exit, right, you're going to be charged a maximum penalty rate.
Okay, so previously the difference was if you enter the toll, without RFID, if you enter this variable rate toll system, what's it called? Closed, right?
Closed, yeah.
Okay, this closed toll system. If you enter using a touch and go lane because the RFID lane is congested, you can still use the Smart Tag lane because essentially it is still the same thing.
Card, yeah.
And I think what people did, and it's fair, I think they assume that it's the same thing because they have this what's it called, direct pay system, right? Where you can touch and go has direct pay.
Paydirect, you mean?
Paydirect,
yeah,
right?
but it's not supported on PLUS.
Yeah, so people don't know that.
Yeah.
Then you come back to the education system, education thing, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people felt that okay, it's the same. If I go in and I touch my touch and go, I go out on RFID because all the lanes is congested, then I'm fine with that, right? So that happened on the day.
Yep. And then also another thing is that a lot of people who got so used with Smart Tag and on the day itself, right, turns out that some of the Smart Tag lanes have been converted to RFID, and some went through like, hey, what happened to my Smart Tag? It's not detecting.
Like like dedicated Smart Tag.
Yes.
Smart Tag lanes now have become dedicated RFID lanes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because before that, right, nobody knew like, okay, where are the lanes going to be? Only on 15 onwards, they find, okay, now it becomes RFID lane.
Yep. And then the lanes are like, okay, some toll plazas, the lane are most right, some is most, okay, it's not going to be most left, some in the middle, some in between.
It's not consistent.
Yep,
and imagine during traffic jams, right, like so many cars around, right? Okay, which lane do you stick to? Because you don't know, is RFID lane on the right side? Or is it the middle? Or is it left? By the time you find out, right, you'll be really stuck in the middle of the jam already. It's hard to move around. So that happened. And I guess that's probably one of the reasons why some Smart Tag users mistakenly go into RFID lanes. And of course, there's another second part. It's like you mentioned, right? Previously, the only way to get RFID is to get to a fitment center. Right now, you still can do that, but some people, find it more convenient to order the self-fitment kit, which you can order online from Shopee or from Lazada and also from the TouchGo e-wallet, and you can do it yourself. But the problem with the self-fitment kit is that there's no way for you to test
whether it works or not.
Because even during the pilot days, right, when they install the tag for you, sometimes it doesn't work. They test manually, okay, sorry, this tag's not working. They give you a free replacement. For this one, there's no way. And with all the awareness from PLUS and Touch 'n Go saying, going to have RFID support in all the highways on the west coast of Peninsula Malaysia, people go out and buy the tag. And they probably haven't tested it yet. And on Monday itself, okay, going to try RFID on my first day of work. And that happened.
Yep, all the jams happened. Okay, so the issue is here. Number one, there was no RFID testing facility because before 15 January, after the pilot test, everybody is self-installation. You stick yourself.
You can actually go for fitness center. It's still available.
Or still, fitness center is still available.
Still available, but most people find it more convenient.
Majority is like, okay, I'll just order this thing and then and just stick it myself. How hard is it to stick a sticker on a car, right? Everybody does it. Number two is people are confused, right? So they go in with RFID lane. They go into the highway using RFID. They go out using smart tag. They get charged the maximum rate. And then number three is like, while this system is the 83 toll plazas, the system is estimated to affect 1.5 million touch and go, RFID users, right? Registered users. And there is still a huge number of vehicles in Malaysia that are using this 83, that are using this highway system, that go through these 83 toll plazas that don't have RFID. One of the other major complaints I saw on social media, and I think it also contributed to the traffic jam. I think it's one of the major contributors to the traffic jam was that a lot of the RFID lanes are dedicated. You know, some highways, some toll plazas, they have like a dual lane, right? You can use smart tag and RFID.
Yep, they have hybrid.
Yes, but most of them are dedicated, and a lot of people are making noises like, this lane is dedicated, and traffic flow is minimum, and it's not being utilized. So that's why the traffic jam is created, right?
Especially for the smaller toll plazas, like some toll plazas, I think the one at Putrajaya, it's only 3 lanes. So last time you have like a 2 touch and go, 1 smart tag. And despite the earlier promise that road users can still use their smart tag and touch and go, some of them don't have smart tag anymore. It becomes RFID.
Yeah, so it's 100% RFID. So it's either you use
touch and go.
The smart tag is no more. So it's RFID. Sorry, not 100%, right? So it's either you use RFID or touch and go.
Yes.
Okay, then that means you take the card from your smart tag and use RFID. So that means you're
more congested.
Because a lot of the smart tag users are used to this free flow, semi free flow lah, right?
I mean, smoother lah, faster lah.
No
need to slow down.
Yeah, that happened. And a lot of people are not happy. And obviously, when a lot of people are not happy, they go on social media, they talk about all these things. And then what happened is after the went to hell, it went up the ceiling and hit the fan, and now it's all over the place. People are on social media making tons of noise, and a lot of people, a lot of the influencers, politicians, a lot of like conspiracy theories, all alleging monopoly, alleging this, alleging that, all coming out already. So we want to clear the air. Actually, what happened? Okay, so that has happened, and what can be done better? I think PLUS and Touch and Go, they are for this implementation of this system, the way that it is being implemented now, that means you can use RFID across all of the highways and toll systems in Peninsular Malaysia. Of course, Sabah and Sarawak doesn't have highway or toll, right? The fault and the blame is 100% on these two parties. Okay? Like Alex mentioned, there is a number of things that they can do to make this so much better for everybody. And from what we can gather and what we've ascertained and all these things that we've collected in the discussions that we have in the office and we've analyzed, right? I think PLUS and RFID were like overconfident that the implementation will go smoothly. And they didn't prepare for the situation to go snafu.
Yeah, what's the worst case scenario?
Yeah, they didn't prepare for the worst case scenario. If you are affected by this, right, I'm sure you go to the toll plaza, you have experience, right, everybody trying to reverse, everybody trying to cross lanes. I'm sure Touch and Go and RFID has the data to know how much traffic will go through a toll plaza at any day. Because they can predict, right? PLUS can predict like how many traffic. Like they always do the seasonal travel,
per hour
travel guidance, and so they know.
Yep.
With that information, they can have people on hand at the booths at the plaza to help. They can create like a buffer zone. So Alex, you wrote an article, like the 6 things that they could do, right? So can you just point out the 6 things and then we can elaborate on those 6 things?
Okay, number 1 is like more clarity on the toll plaza itself. Like before you enter before you reach the toll plaza, maybe at least 500 meters before that, right? At least give a clear illustration. Okay, where are the RFID lanes? And maybe if you want, since it's the first day, right, you want to isolate any potential spillover. You don't want RFID users to affect other users. They can probably do like a barricade before that. Maybe like a special barrier. Okay, RFID lanes, RFID users stick to the right. So at least if any issues with RFID, right, you don't affect other users out there. And also, number 2 is that you need to have more on-ground staff. Like for example, right, okay, the normal scenario is, something wrong, you press a button. But this is the first day. Wait. But this is the first day. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
They should have additional manpower.
Yeah, on the spot. Like for example, this guy first try cannot. Okay.
Yeah.
Use manual tag or let them go to a site to settle that problem and let the rest go. Because you only have one RFID lane. It just takes one person who gets stuck to jam out the whole RFID users.
Yep. And then number 3.
Number 3 would be because of the, like we mentioned earlier about the RFID self-payment kits, right? Our people don't know whether their tags are working or not. They should at least provide some free testing facility, maybe like a mock-up gantry or something to drive through and see whether the tag's working or not.
At least go to the fitment center and have it tested.
Yeah.
I was told that, if you activate your RFID tag, because, you have to tag it to to the Touch and Go wallet, and you'll get an SMS to say, okay, it's been registered.
Yes.
Please go to the nearest toll highway to try it out, which is like the dumbest thing to do.
Exactly.
Any developer will know, right? Anybody will know. Even doctors, whoever, right? Even if you're a live performer, right? You never do anything new. You never test anything in a live environment. You never. I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster. So that's number 4. Okay, number 5.
Number 5 will be, make sure there's smart tag lanes in every toll plaza, because they give assurance that, okay, you're using smart tag or touch and go, don't worry, we'll still maintain. But turns out that not all toll plaza has smart tag. The very least, right, don't mess with what works right now. Smart tag users, if they're using it, they're actually helping to reduce the congestion. Let them be. I mean, keep at least one smart tag lane. Don't remove it and replace with RFID. Because I'm pretty sure right now, at this moment, there's still more smart tag users than RFID, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so why remove that? And then last one would be enable paydirect. Because for those who don't know, paydirect is a feature in Touch and Go e-wallet where you can link your physical Touch and Go card, including your IC, to e-wallet. So if you use it on your smart tag or use it on the toll booth on the Touch and Go lane, what that does is it doesn't deduct money from your physical card. It gets from your e-wallet. So I think that's a first step to overcome the hesitancy of e-wallets. Because some people, they feel like, RFID susah lah, I need to maintain like 2 balance and all that. At least get people on board first. On the e-wallet on the bandwagon. So at least let people use that. And I think a lot of people are finding it convenient to use a paydirect, because whether it's a card or a smart tag, it's everything for e-wallet.
I mean, it is something that it adds convenience. So Alex and I was talking about all this, and we were looking at the situation. It's like, what the hell is going on, right? This is what I have to say about this, right? So a lot of people are also saying, RFID is not required. Why don't we just implement the same system like Singapore,
Australia,
just
whatever.
use like a smart tag type of device, right?
Yeah, it's active RFID.
Yeah, and then you can pass through the gantry system, whatever. But what they don't know is that smart tag type of device is also an RFID system, right? It's also powered by radio and not powered by infrared. There was also a discussion. Somebody said, smart tag is like 10,000 times better than RFID, which I disagree. I think you disagree as well. Radio is much better because it doesn't require line of sight, and you can fine tune the sensors, the scanning, and everything, right? I started just now by saying like PLUS and Touch and Go is the people to blame for this 15th January implementation because of the 6 things Alex mentioned just now, and also these 2 things. Number 1 is they are so overly confident that this will work, and they didn't prepare for the worst. That's number 1. Number 2, they didn't provide enough education and awareness. It's not nearly enough to educate people on what happens on the day.
And also one thing, let's say for example, for new RFID users, right? If the palang doesn't go up, what do you do? Nobody knows how. At least for us, because we've used RFID before, right? We just reverse back and we can detect and open. Some people just don't know that. First time users.
So, we'll talk about education, right? So maybe there are people saying, what is it to educate? You just go through the toll system. Everybody knows how to do it. RFID is different because when you go through the lane, there are a number of things. If the tag is not detected, number one, what do you do? Do you reverse? Are you allowed to reverse? If there are people on hand, maybe those people can help facilitate the reversing, divert traffic, blah blah blah. That could have helped. Number two, there are messages that you can see on the board. One of the messages is
Sila undo.
baki tak cukup.
Yeah.
Baki tidak cukup or something. Number two is sila undo. Number three, I think I saw was kenderaan di belakang terlalu dekat. There is no education or awareness talking about like what to do. What if these alerts come on? What to do?
Yep.
How do you slow down? It is a new system, and I think I commented in one of the postings that my friend posted on Facebook to say that I'm all for RFID. Actually, it's good because one of the major contributors of traffic congestions on our highway is, of course, the number of cars that's on the road, but also the slowdown that is caused by toll booths. RFID, the promise of RFID system is to allow this free flow of traffic across multiple lanes so that we don't have to slow down anymore. And I am all for the pain points. I am for all of us to go through all these pain points so that we get to this ultimate goal. As a country, that we get to this ultimate goal. Now, the question is the implementation. So for 15 December, definitely PLUS and RFID can do better. Definitely. But I also don't want to discredit them. I think they've done, not to say a good enough job for the 15th, but for the implementation of RFID in the country, I think they've done a good job. They've gotten people who were skeptical to come on board. I love the convenience, and I think a lot of RFID users are saying the same thing. I love the convenience of being not to worry about topping up my Touch and Go card is great. And I'm all for that. Now, there are people who are saying that, hey, we should just continue using smart tag. The issue here is, after 15 January, I put the blame on PLUS and RFID, but they are not to blame for what's going to happen in the future. I think PLUS, RFID, and the government, the ministry has promised that they are going to try and implement this multi-lane free flow system by by 2023. 26,
yes.
Okay. By 2026. That means if you've been to Singapore, if you've been to Australia, you can go. You have this dream of going through a highway without ever having to slow down to pay for tolls, without ever having to fumble for change, without ever having to fumble for topping up your Touch and Go card. I think that is awesome. And for that to happen, is it only PLUS and Touch and Go that are responsible for this? No. It's not. The key for this implementation is one critical component, which is number plates.
Yeah, and also that also ties into the legal framework to charge people who evade tolls or have bad payments. Because like you talk about like Australia and Singapore, right? Okay, for those who don't have the tags or the right equipment, right, it's super easy. The system picks out your number and it will send you a bill. You don't settle the bill within a certain period of time, they're going to send you a fine. And if you don't settle the fine, possibly you can't renew your road tax or insurance. Then you're forced to pay. At least the highways are getting paid accordingly.
There is a system in place, right?
Yes.
I think you were the one that told me, right? If you go through a gantry system and you don't have a tag or you're not detected or you didn't pay, you can immediately go to the next petrol station.
Any
right?
petrol station, just check your system.
And then just key in your
plate number.
Plate number, and you can just pay on the spot and you don't get a fine. So there's like a cooling off period for you to pay. Now, for that system to happen, the system needs to be able to identify your vehicle. And the most important vehicle identification tool that is used by all the countries in the world is a number plate, license plate. And the problem with Malaysia is I think we are the only one or one of the smaller number. I mean, we are rare in terms of all our neighbors have standardized plates. Singapore, Indonesia,
Thailand,
Philippines, Vietnam too, I
traditional.
think, have standardized number plates. Only, if I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but we are the only ones that do not have standardized number plate system. Okay, then your next question is, why is it so important? RFID is now pairing their thing with ANPR, right? Automatic number plate recognition,
But
right?
only for PLUS. Only PLUS does that as far as I know. The rest, I don't think they're doing it
Okay,
yet.
so for 2026 to happen, for Malaysia to have this dream of multi-lane free flow system, we need to remove this error from our transportation system. This error is not being able to identify cars because the number plate system cannot read your number plate.
Yep.
And the problem with this is people can just make fancy plates.
Small font, big font, put the font and the characters so close together to look like a word.
Yeah.
All these fancy plates is going to make it hard for operators to detect.
If humans cannot read the thing, how can a computer read the thing, right?
Exactly.
Now, why is this happening? I believe, right, this is my theory, right, there is a lot of money on the table, and people who have interest in this money on the table is pushing back as much as possible. Where is this money at, right? Number one is, I think, smart tech. The smart tech suppliers, the smart tech, now you can get third party smart tech and whatever, right?
Yeah, but actually smart tech, the sales has stopped since 2018, but the makers of it are still selling it as a third party,
right?
supplying.
So they're still supplying. So there is money there. They've invested. They're pushing this back, and I'm sure these people are highly influential and they can lobby all these things, right? That's one. Number two is people who are providing all these fancy plates. These fancy plates is a big business. You go to a lot of accessory shop.
Yep.
If you're in KL, there's this really big number plate shop along the Federal Highway. It's called APD Crew. A lot of people go there. They started out with just one lot. I think now the whole row is them. They now started selling motorcycle. They started doing wrapping services and whatever. But the business start from that, and I'm pretty sure it's still a cash cow for them.
But they're making JPJ compliant plates, right?
They have fancy plates too. Okay. The argument is the fancy plate, right? There is no law to say you cannot make fancy plates. The law is saying you cannot use fancy plates on the road. You can use it on the car if you wanna take picture. Sure, can. It's not illegal, but you cannot use it on the road.
But normally, you look at those foreign countries where have the standardized plates, right? They're like, I think like Singapore, it's like that bolt to the car, right?
Yep.
You can't change it. It's a security feature because the plate's not just about being decoration, but it's also a safety feature, security feature in terms of like, if you say someone commits a crime, the police can actually investigate the cars better.
Yeah.
If not, you can just change the plate to something else.
Yeah, you can. In Malaysia, having standardized number plate can solve tons of problems. It can even solve traffic congestion problem. Because we have this multi-lane free flow. Imagine, right? Let's say if you take Pencalaling again and you go through the tunnel. That thing is congestion. Imagine, okay, that's small. Sungai Besi toll.
Yep.
Imagine Sungai Besi toll, you don't have to stop to pay for toll.
Friday evening,
how much time you save?
Yeah.
How much money you save? How much stress you save? The key to all this is not the RFID, it's not PLUS, it's number plates.
Yeah.
Because, go ahead.
And also, like I just want to mention, before we enable multi-lane free flow, the first step after this would be to remove the palang from the RFID lanes.
Yes.
And of course, you want to remove, imagine this, if you own a highway, right? You remove the palang from the RFID lane. Do you really think that only RFID users will drive through that lane?
Everybody will drive through that lane.
Everybody drive that lane.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, catch me. Come on, charge me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, summon me. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
So far, there's no legal framework.
There's no legal framework. So it starts with number plate number one. Number two is there's no recourse in terms of collecting the money back. Right? So if you are a highway user, you have a car, you follow behind another car very closely, and you I don't know what's the word.
Evade toll.
You hike, you piggyback on the car and you pass that toll, right? PLUS cannot catch you.
Yep.
They can report to the police, and the police will go like, okay lah, when that is not high on my priority list. I have other things to worry about, and there's no way for PLUS to collect the money. There is no. The government has mentioned that they will have this. They want to do this multi-lane free flow thing by 2026, and they announced this when I don't know 2018 or something like that.
Yeah, and then recently, the Deputy Works Minister in Parliament said that they plan to phase out Smart Tech and Touch and Go cards by the end of 2023. How do we get there? Nobody knows.
Yeah, I wanted to add, right, within this plan, right, the most critical component is not there, which is the framework and the what's the word I'm looking for? The jalan kerja on how to get there. What are the major milestones for us to get there?
Yep.
Obviously, RFID is not driven by, I want to make sure... RFID is not driven by the government to alleviate it's not driven by the government to alleviate traffic congestion. It's not. It is a money making thing. Why do I say that? Because it enabled Touch and Go to develop the Touch and Go e-wallet application. Number two, it saves Touch and Go tons of money. Not requiring to print any more Touch and Go cards.
And also fraud, because there's a lot of fraud cases with Touch and Go cards, the physical cards. Yeah.
The Touch and Go physical cards is
So
tremendously flawed. It's not real time. And you know, people can game the system. You know, there were a lot of news where people had like thousands of ringgit on multiple cards, and these cards are all bogus cards, but they're still usable on the Touch and Go system. So they wanted to eliminate all that. And then number three, they can make tons of money on the RFID tag.
Yeah, I think recently Najib Tun Razak, the former Prime Minister, said that, why does it cost 35 ringgit? Someone's making money out of this.
Yeah. Okay, I agree and I disagree. Yes, they are making money, but this money goes into... I think the justification is going back to reinvestment into the system, maintaining the system, making sure that the system is working properly, moving forward. I have to commend Touch and Go for quickly improving their e-wallet system. I think SoyChicha.com, our writers, our team have been the loudest critic of the Touch and Go e-wallet system, and at every point in which we provide feedback, whether it's personally or whether it's through our articles, they were quick to respond and improve. And I have to put that out. I have to commend them for doing that. I think other than Grab, Touch and Go is one of the most prominent e-wallet service providers in the country, and they started from zero. They started from not a technology company to becoming a technology company, and I applaud them for doing that. But now we have to move forward, right? So so it's fair that they charge this 35 ringgit, I feel. And they are a company, they need to make profit. I think that's fair.
And also, going back to the tax, right? The thing is, here's the thing about the government, right? If your intention is to implement multi-lane free flow by 2026, why aren't we bundling RFID tags for new cars? There's no incentive or any push to ensure new cars come with it. In fact, until today, you still can see new cars from Purudua
with smart tag readers.
With smart tag readers. Like, why is it still happening? If that's going to be like a sunset technology, why is it bundling? It's like selling 3G phones today.
Yeah, it's again coming back to this thing, right? The government is not pushing this through. They're just riding on. So back to what I mentioned, right? So influencers and politicians were started to make noise after January 15. After all the situation went terrible, right? It's just riding. There's no action. Recently, the Prime Minister has came out. We need to provide alternatives, choices for people to pay the toll, right?
Yeah,
that basically 100% contradicts what the government plan is for 2026. Because if you start providing alternatives, then when is your cutoff?
Yeah, and also I want to add on to that. That other people complain, RFID why is it so slow? Why do you need to slow down? Why can't we be like other countries? In fact, the technology is capable of doing that. You can actually drive through high speed. The reason why it's slow, and I'll tell you why, is because right now what we have right now is a half implementation. Because we have discussion with the team from RFID with Touch and Go. Actually, the sensor, right, is actually very powerful to pick up 3 to 5 lanes at high speeds. The reason why it's very slow right now is because they need to tune down, because we have the physical lanes. Imagine if they run it at maximum power, they could be picking up RFID tags from vehicles passing through another lane, and that's why it's so compromised right now. So the next step will be to remove the palang, and eventually, once all the lanes are removed, then you experience the full potential of RFID.
So we've come to this chicken and egg situation. So we have a system that is capable of so much more. But there is money on the table because the RFID, Touch and Go have to collect toll, not toll. They have to collect money. The highway operators have to collect toll. There's no legal recourse, so they cannot implement a system right away because there is no, and even I tried to think about all the permutations about how do I collect back money from errant toll users, highway users. There is no surefire way.
Yeah, even like summons, right? People collect summons, they don't settle, and
there's discounts.
The discounts.
Yeah. Okay, then we can talk about, let's go to summons. Yes, I agree. We can issue summons, but there is now no link. There is no law, no legislation to say that if you don't pay toll, you'll get summon. No. Except the company itself can go and summon you in court, and you all know what happens there lah. You look at how much money Indah Water have wasted
Yep.
to just collect payment.
Yeah, they're literally like begging people to pay up.
At first they were like, okay, pay up. And then they were like, okay, pay up or we're going to take legal action. Pay up, we're going to take legal action. After that, hey, bro, please lah, pay. Please lah.
Lucky Joe, price. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no legal recourse. So, for me, this is where I want to sum up the show, right? I believe in the RFID system. It is not anything new or groundbreaking. It is a system that's been used by everything from logistics to tracking animals to even paying tolls. It's proven technology.
Yeah, but we're bogged down by legacy issues.
Legacy issue is one thing. The biggest problem for me, and I'm really hoping for this dream of 2026 where we don't have to slow down for tolls anymore. The biggest issue is government support.
Yep.
Not government support. It's political, what you call political will, right?
Yeah, political will. And you set the policy, stick to it. This is the direction we're going to go.
Yes.
Let's move forward.
And you know why there's no political will? Back to what I mentioned just now, there's just so much money on the table. People making fancy plates, I'm sure they are political link. I'm sure there's some Dato Sri, whatever shit out there that's making money, that's putting some money in somebody's pocket.
I want my number plates.
Yeah. And they're not going to move.
Yep.
They're not going to move. Obviously, this political will can shift. Can we still make money? Yes, we can have standardized plates and still make money. You can have standardized plate centers. APD can start making standardized number plates. Maybe they're not going to make as much money because you cannot make fancy plates anymore, but they can.
Actually, there's a lot of fancy options with standardized plates. You can have like different colors for the plates, but the fonts are clear.
Yeah. So, okay, that's a good point. Then it comes to all this, right? For this to happen, the political will needs to happen because you need to involve multiple ministries.
Yep.
The Works Ministry.
The Transport Ministry.
The Transport Ministry. The Police.
Yep.
Everybody needs to come together and create all these rules. Yes, it's such a simple problem, right? When it comes to implementing innovation, right, it is solving the simplest problems. And solving the simplest problem is not about a simple solution. It is about a shift. It is about a complete change in something that is archaic, that's been contributing into the system. And for something to change, that needs to happen first. We need to issue standardized number plate. We need to have rules, regulations, and legislation about how to punish people who don't pay tolls or use fancy plates. We need to have stricter enforcement, and we need the ministries to work together. So while 15 January is RFID is Touch and Go and PLUS's fault, I cannot fault them for pushing this through and trying to make this happen because they are chasing the 2026 deadline. And I think they're working hard. Yes, they made all these mistakes. Like we mentioned that, okay, I think they're overconfident. They should put more people on the ground to solve the problem. There's a transition period, right? Every time there's a transition period, you need to help.
Yep.
And they didn't offer help. And they didn't handle the situation properly. The way that they communicated to people, the way they shut down comments on their Facebook page. Plus did that, right? The way some of the people that work in PLUS responded to comments, I think is not right. They could have used this as an opportunity to educate people and show people that, hey, this is the way of the future. If you feel that you like this, write to your politicians so that they can make a change in Parliament. And what has happened is it has backfired completely to a point where the number one man in the country, our Prime Minister, is now saying that, okay, screw 2026. Essentially, that is what he's saying. Screw 2026. Use smart tech, use whatever old system you have. You want to use RFID, go ahead. There's an option for you.
He didn't really say screw 2026.
No, but the way he said it, right?
Yeah,
the
it's open-ended.
Like have options. For me, if he is as intelligent as I think he is, or I give him credit for, then he will not say things like that. He will be measured in his words to say that, okay, I acknowledge that it causes traffic jams. I have spoken to the CEO of PLUS and CEO of Touch and Go. They will have a proper implementation and a proper plan to ensure that the transition period runs smoothly and we eliminate the traffic congestions at toll booths. But our commitment stays the same. We will drive and strive to work to have a multi-lane free flow system by 2026.
Yeah, it looks like it's backpedaling.
Yeah, you cannot say Okay lah, this is a problem. Okay, have options lah. Give options.
Yeah.
Then what happens to 2026? I don't know lah. Later we figure it out lah. I don't know. Am I still prime minister or not? I mean, you can measure your words and you can answer in a very smart way to say that, yes, it was a problem. I acknowledge it. The CEO of PLUS and Touch and Go will issue an apology. We will make sure that this doesn't happen, but we will continue. Because for me, it's like, okay, you hit a problem, okay, no need to do anymore.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
don't analyze, like, okay, what caused the problem?
Yep.
The problem is not the implementation of the system, but it is the handling of the problem itself.
And just because hit one rock doesn't mean that, okay, you know what, let's put a pause first. Yeah. It sounds like it's really backpedaling, the whole thing.
It's not put a pause, It's like,
whatever lah now.
Go back.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, smart tech, whatever, and then everybody's happy lah. So the people who've been lobbying about like, I still want to be a smart tech supplier, the Touch and Go card supplier, everybody's happy lah.
Yeah, you see, maintain smart tech what?
Yeah. Okay, so Alex, you have like some. You've been talking to the people in the industry. You've been talking directly to the people at Touch and Go and PLUS. Based on your interactions, right? I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I'm trying to say like, okay, is there like a light at the end of the tunnel for this?
I think like what you said, right? I think they're doing the best they can, but at the same time, like we discussed earlier, I think they're overconfident on the issues that happen because I think they're overconfident saying that, oh, you know what, RFID is not new. We have done this here and there. They have deployed RFID in northern states of Peninsular Malaysia, so things should be the same. But they underestimate the potential problem because one small problem can snowball into a huge problem like we've seen on Monday. But then again, I can see the challenges as well, like we mentioned about the legal framework, because as a highway operator, you want to make sure that all these toll evaders are dealt with properly, and that's not happening yet. And from what I've seen, right, they are also very eager and supportive towards enabling multi-lane free flow.
Yeah,
because that's the ultimate goal. That's something they're pushing hard enough. But at the same time, the government has to be supportive and have a stronger stance on it.
Yeah. I think that's a good point because the highway operators, they want to make the highway a convenient place, a pleasant place
to be
for you to use, right? I commend PLUS for providing like really rapid responses for breakdowns on the highway. I commend them for really upgrading the facilities, the rest stops on a lot of the highways. It has improved tremendously. I commend them for being bold and brave. I think they've experimented a few years back on creating hotels for people to stay overnight.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
rest stops.
at rest stops. I think that's great because they were saying that you have people who are traveling long haul. You have all the truck drivers, and this is an opportunity. I think it's great. Yes, this is a mistake. It's you are remembered, and it's easy for me to say this, but I'm also affected by this, right? You are remembered by your most recent success. Your most recent failure.
Yeah, you always remember the bad stuff.
Yeah. So, how do you overcome that? For me is to acknowledge and then to move forward. To issue a statement to say that the system has been successfully implemented. It's not a good look lah.
Yeah.
If you ask me. So, if the people from Touch and Go and PLUS are listening to this, we're trying to be as fair as possible. Comments and critique is where it is due, but credit is also where it is due. And I only have two e-wallets in my phone. One is Grab and the other one is Touch and Go. And I think that's a huge acknowledgement of the great work that you guys done. It's just now how do we move forward lah.
Yep.
And it's not up to them. It's this government and the Prime Minister lah. I'm really pissed off. I'm more pissed off to him than to PLUS and Touch and Go.
Yeah, I mean, how lah?
How lah? So I think that's about it. How lah? What do you guys think? Viewers and listeners, let us know in the comment section below. If you're listening to us on podcast, drop us a voice note. Send it over to Let's Talk About what was the email address again? LTA.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
Is it Let's Talk About?
Yeah.
The email is let's talk about @surgeonshaw.com. So drop a voice note. And if it's something really good, we'll publish it in the next episode. So, yeah. And that's my cue to remind you that we are available on podcasts. So just search for Sorry Inshallah, Let's Talk About. We are available on all of your favorite podcast platforms. If you do listen to us on podcast, please do give us a 5-star rating because that helps us. That helps our show a lot. For those of you who are watching us on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to our channel. And your comments and suggestions, we love reading them. We get inspiration and ideas from these comments and suggestions, so please do keep them coming. Let us know whether you were the many people who experienced this major congestion on all these plus toll plazas, and how can the system be improved. Yeah. Anything else, Alex?
That's about it.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. This is me, Amin.
And this Alex.
Catch you guys later.
Bye.